Oh, sorry, I couldn't. I know Annie's getting ready to like flip me off.
They're here.
I can't believe you would say that. So, it's October. I
Yes.
can't believe we're actually saying it's October already.
Yay!
It has been September seemed like it went on forever.
Oh, that ain't no joke.
It's over, thank God. And
Yeah.
now we're in what seems to be what everybody's favorite month is.
Mm-hmm.
But the real question is why?
The spookiness.
Yeah, I have to say that is pretty much it, because if you look at, people want to get scared. They want to experience that fear. So, in order to do so, they might visit a haunted house or watch horror movies. So, so this is kind of what we're going to be working with tonight, is talking about some horror movies, maybe giving you guys some great ideas on some films to watch or programs to watch, which I have watched one on Netflix, which is actually still considered the number one show in 70 countries.
Really?
Yes. And holy crap, it was interesting.
I cannot wait to check this one out.
It's the Squid Game.
Squid Game?
Yeah, you haven't seen this?
No.
Oh, man, let me see if I can get you like a trailer for it. It's not in English, but you can go when you go to Netflix and you start it. You can actually put it to English speaking.
Oh, okay, good. Because I don't do subtitles well.
Right, but I wouldn't do their subtitles because apparently Netflix did not match up what was said to the subtitles. It was pretty bad. But the show itself, holy crap, I was like, wow. Okay, that thing just went down the wrong pipe. Here we go. Trailer. Official trailer.
Yes, we need to see the official trailer.
Yeah, and so this is the official trailer for the Squid Game. Hopefully you can hear it in English. If not, well, we're in trouble. But here we go.
지금 이 자리에 계신 여러분들은 모두 감당할 수 없는 빚을 지고 삶의 벼랑 끝에 서 계신 분들입니다. 게임에 참가를 원하지 않는 분은 지금 말씀해 주시길 바랍니다.
무궁화 꽃이 피었습니다입니다.
I think I've seen this video.
이 사람은 그렇게 중요한 건 몇 6개의 게임을 모두 이긴 분들께는 도에게 상금이 지급됩니다. 눈 바짝 뜨고 계세요. 제일 센 중에부터 그게 살길이에요. 애들 게임 규칙 단순해.
내가 무조건 얘기해 줄 테니까. 무슨 수로? 무슨 수를 써서도.
니는 안 데려가잖아! 우리끼리 이렇게 죽으면 안 데려가잖아! 게임을 거부하는 참가자는 탈락으로 처리된다.
Interesting.
So I have to say the trailer did not do it any justice. Okay, and that's really straight out saying a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Hey,
got it.
Fabian. Hi, hon. How you doing?
But I will say, oh my gosh, I watched it from episode 1 to the end. So that creepy doll that turns around,
Mm-hmm.
what it's doing is the game red light, green light.
Uh-huh.
And if you move on red light, you get killed.
Oh, damn.
You have to cross the line to live. And oh my goodness, it was good. Now, I had a few people tell me that they said, well, they like some other games too, or other movies too, or other shows. And so I started to watch this one that they recommended, which is, okay, so the Squid Game is from Taiwan.
Okay.
The new one that I started yesterday was Alice in Borderland. And this one, hello, Fabian. This one is from Japan, and it's a similar setup. You have to play a game or you get killed. And it's a life or death game. Oh, man. Talk about intense, on the edge of your seat. Whoever came up with these ideas for this really did a great job. Really did a great job. So, yes, both of them are on Netflix, as you saw, and both of them can be put in English. So you could watch it in English. Unfortunately, as you saw, the trailer was not set up that way. So,
Yeah.
But really intense. Now, is it a horror movie or a horror show? Depends on what you consider horror.
Kind of, sort
Well,
of.
there's different types of horror. There's the slice and dice,
Mm-hmm.
and the mind games.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing.
This is definitely a mind game. I would put this up there with Saw.
Yeah. I would too.
Yeah.
Just from the clips that I've seen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, both of these would be, I would say an Asian version of Saw.
I used to like the Saw movies. I watched them. I think it was 5, up to 5, where they had to. I think they had to get a key or something, and it was a jigsaw or whatever, and the guy cut his hand. You know, and I was like, "That's it. I can't deal with this anymore."
Cringe.
That was it. I mean, I've seen some pretty gruesome, gruesome stuff, but that just kind of did it in.
Annie, you
What?
Want to play a game?
No.
You know, he never says that. From what I understand, that's something else. But anyway, what is the worst horror movie you've ever seen? The worst. I mean, not scary. It doesn't have to be scary, but
worst as in put together worst?
Well, something that sticks in your head, and it's so awful it sticks in your head.
Now that's a good question. I might actually have to think on that, because when you talk about some of them, you know, ZZ convinced me to
Yeah,
watch
there's
them.
something that is so awfully disturbing that it just totally screws your head up.
Zombievers was a bad one.
And what are talking about, like B movies? You know, really.
Hey, you didn't specify. 'Cause
Right? He didn't specify.
Okay. Have you ever seen Human Centipede?
no.
I heard about it. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, that's
Don't
a big
It's gross.
deal.
It's gross.
Please do not do it.
Yeah, I heard that was disgusting.
Yeah.
That was I've seen The Exorcist. I saw The Exorcist when it came out. I
Mhm.
saw The Exorcist. It was more up to date. The things that you didn't see before,
Right.
like the little girl crawling backwards down the steps. That freaked me out. But this thing was so awful. It bothered me. It totally bothered me.
Yeah, and the worst part is there are continuations to this.
Yes, and I don't want to go into that. I've heard some things about it that even just reading it makes my stomach turn.
Mm.
I can't. Yeah, director's cut. That's what. But it was just so gruesome, and it's like, what kind of monster or sicko would think of something like that?
But there are people like that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, Eli Roth. I love him. He's great. I really do. In fact, he's got something on AMC. It was one on last week, one on tonight. And he's great. He's really good. I mean, I think he did the what was it? I don't want to. It was a Cabin in the Woods, but it wasn't the movie The Cabin in the Woods, and I can't think of the name of it. Where they get Ryder Strong was in it, and he was actually too, in a brief part or a small part. But he's got this horror thing on. So if you get a chance to see it, if you have cable, you can go back on demand in the AMC. You can find it. Tonight's Infections, like zombies and stuff.
Well, see, I think if you really want to classify a movie as being like terrifying, this one got in your head, even though it might not be listed as a horror movie, more of a thriller. I would say something like, "Hello, Clarice."
That's cute.
Yeah, well, would you rather that or have, the pictures from the movie itself?
Right.
Seriously though, Silence of the Lambs had a very good quote in it. Not the "Hello, Clarice," but another quote that terrifies people still today.
What, the thing with the fava beans?
No, it puts the lotion in the basket or it gets the hose again.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yes. And just
Well, that's psychological, and the psychologicals are good.
Yeah. Oh, I love the psychologicals. Would you have classified the Rocky Horror Picture Show as horror?
I am going to make a confession. I've never seen it.
Oh,
I've only seen maybe like a bits and pieces here and there, but I've never seen it.
You got to watch it at least once.
I know. My kids cannot believe Mom has never seen it.
Hey, Pam, you remember, was it almost 10 years ago, I got criticized really hard for not watching it.
Yes, you did.
I've never seen it.
Okay, I will make it a point to find it and watch it.
Mm-hmm. You actually are going to have to, because you can't. My parents raised us to say we can't hate something unless we've tried it.
Right.
Like meaning food-wise. Well, it would be the same thing. I can't say, "Oh, I don't like this movie," even though I've never seen it.
No. Right.
What gets me sometimes is some of these movies and I'm in talking about movies in general, are so hyped up. Now, I've seen It's a Wonderful Life. It's like, eh. I tried to watch Citizen Kane. I had to turn it off. It made no sense. 2001, I saw it when it came out when I was a little kid. Tried to watch it again as an adult. I was like, this still doesn't make any sense. I don't think I was having a blonde moment or whatever, but it still didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, there were certain films that came out that were just no good.
Right.
But let's look at some that would be decent enough. Okay, I already know you're a fan of Tim Curry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love Tim Curry.
Hello, who do you think the main star is?
I know that is. I know who. Yeah.
And to see him like that is an image I cannot scrub out of my head.
Oh, I think it's adorable. Oh, I love him. Actually, I got my daughter an album of the songs he had sung for Christmas one year, and I keep saying, have you played it yet? No.
Yeah.
She loves Tim Curry. She does.
And you wouldn't even think that he would dress up in drag.
No, I would have never pictured that.
I would have never pictured it.
But then again, look at Patrick Swayze and all those guys.
Yeah.
Everything.
But I mean, every time I think Tim Curry, the first image that comes to my mind is Pennywise. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sorry. You get that Pennywise image in your head and you just do not shake it. And he played that role like there was no tomorrow.
Well, have you seen the reboot?
Yeah, and actually it follows the book. So
it does. It does. Yeah. And though, it was a miniseries, so you couldn't have that kind of stuff on there. But
well, back then when they first did it, you're right. That stuff could have never made it to TV and probably not even made it to movies because they would have probably called it close to a snuff film back then.
Right.
Oh yeah. And then we do have those snuff films.
Many Faces of Death.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I've seen all of them.
Why does that not surprise me?
and never, my advice to anybody who wants to see Faces of Death, do not eat beforehand and do not go to the grocery store afterwards, which I did. And I'm at the meat counter and I was like, I can't do this. I just cannot do this. I was like, oh.
Yeah, see, my thing is she can watch that, but never watch Rocky Horror Picture Show. Gosh.
No, I just never got around to doing it, and I will do it.
Yeah.
I will find it at the store. I will buy the DVD. And
I actually did buy the DVD. That's how I ended up getting to watch it. For quite some time, they had an old cinema here in San Antonio that you could go to and watch it. They would actually run specials to watch it in the theater, which was really cool. Yeah. And I never got to go see it there. So I would have loved to have done that.
Yeah.
But hey, it was better watching it in the comfort of my home, because there was a couple of times that I think I need to step away because seeing him in a teddy just did not settle well in my stomach.
That was a bad mental picture of him.
I'm telling you.
Well, I don't know. I think it's cute. I would like to have a poster of that if I could ever find one.
I don't even now. Why are you putting that image back in my head? I was doing good. It was gone.
You'll have it there for a while. You're welcome, EW.
Yeah. Well,
that's a lot better than the human centipede having that stuck in your head.
Ooh, yeah. I'd rather have that one.
Yeah. I have to agree. Okay, so then I have another one.
Okay.
Maybe at one time it was probably considered horror, especially around Halloween itself, because you never know. You know, everybody at one time was terrified about events that happened around Halloween, right? Do you guys remember at
Yes,
Sorry.
it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Woo, yeah. Uh-huh.
But the fishnet, real.
Yeah.
The remember at one time it was this big fear of people putting razor blades in candy or
Yeah.
apples and stuff or needles, and you had to go to the hospital and have it x-rayed, and
Yeah.
then new things that so we were getting terrified on Halloween, and sometimes I wonder if that was really real.
I think it was because a
Oh
few
yeah, you got
people,
some
few
sickies
kids
out there.
found some stuff in their candy.
Okay, everybody, take a shot. Oh,
Right?
But it brought the okay, I want to say stuff, but before I get there, I guess I need to bring up the movie itself.
Okay, bring it up. I had a feeling. I just had a feeling.
Oh, Friday the 13th, Part 2. That's
Do
when
you
the
know-
little kid's walking in the hospital with his mom with the thing up at his mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. You see all that and you're just like, but there's another part that makes you wonder, because there's this huge trivia question for the longest time.
Mhm.
Who was the actual murderer in the first one?
Mrs. Voorhees.
Yep. His mother was.
Yeah, well, we watched Scream yesterday. Scream had a marathon on, or I had a Scream marathon.
I've done that. I'm still trying to say, how the heck does this guy keep
Coming back to life?
Well, it's like the other one that hopefully I think they're ending it.
Yeah.
Next movie, which is Halloween.
Right.
And I
between Jason and Michael, they just keep coming back.
Well, I mean, Jason, I think, is done. I think they stopped making any of the Friday the 13th after Jason Goes to Hell.
No.
Oh, no, that's right. They did one more.
Jason X, I think it was.
Yeah.
He's frozen in kryptonite or
whatever. Yeah.
Whatever.
Comes back
and like a couple hundred years. They need to quit bringing these people back because they don't come back from the dead.
You figured in 200, 300 years they wise up and realize there's still the sin factors. No sex, no drinking, no drugs.
You're right.
No, they're just as stupid, up there and they are and back there, and they just won't learn.
Yeah, but I mean, you get that. But this one, I did watch the last Halloween movie.
You did.
The ones that really drew me in to want to watch any of the Halloween movies were the ones with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
There's a new one out.
Yes, and it's continuation from the last one.
Really?
Oh, yes.
You mean Halloween part 23 or something like that?
Right.
I'm telling you.
But I think this is the plan. They're ending it right here. So this is the final Halloween. That's what it looks like. Just by the way they talk about it. You got to have that little ending that make you wonder, oh my God, are they going to? But
yeah.
But okay, how long has Halloween been around? Was it 1978?
I think that was the original.
77 or 78?
I think it was 78.
I think you're right.
But there's a lot of them.
So the original Halloween, 1978, with Jamie Lee Curtis.
I'll drink to that.
Okay. Now, one of our favorite authors that I actually got to do a book with, Nicholas Grabowski, is the author of Halloween 4, which brought Michael Myers back into the story.
Well, Halloween 3 really had nothing to do with it. That was Season of the Witch.
Yeah, which was stupid.
The book was good. I read the book.
Yeah.
But
But
If I
then,
hear Happy Happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock, I don't want that crap in my head.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, Tom started
Halloween,
singing that the other day when it was coming up. It was like, no.
Halloween H2O.
I saw that.
It was awesome. Here she is back, and Michael Myers appears. This is what brought me back into the franchise for a short time.
For a short time.
Yeah, because then they kill her in the beginning of the next one. I'm like, what? And then here they bring out the last, Halloween. I guess they just did call it Halloween. Yeah, 2018, where they have the showdown between her and Michael Myers. And now here we go. Halloween Kills is the new one that comes out this year. Actually,
Okay, and they are supposedly brother and sister.
Yeah. Well, they are. They and the very first movie shows that. So
Okay.
No, actually, no. You don't find that out until the second one.
I thought you found out. Oh, was it the second one?
It
Because
was
I
the
remember
second
the
one.
flashback. I thought the flashback showed him killing the older sister.
The older sister, but they never made mention of the younger sister until 2.
Okay, which would have been Jamie Lee Curtis.
Right.
Okay. All right. Let's take you to another psychological thriller then.
Okay.
And I do say psychological thriller because the mother of Jamie Lee Curtis was the scream queen of this film.
Psycho.
Psycho, exactly.
Oh.
The reason why a lot of people do not want to take a shower by themselves.
I can honestly say that I think about that most of the time when I take a shower. But what piece of trivia, what movie did Jamie Lee Curtis and her mom star in together?
I remember this one. Oh man, and I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to go look it up, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But
I can't remember.
I've seen it.
You ready?
Yes.
The Fog.
The Fog?
Right.
The Fog. Yep. Not the new Fog, what was from 2005, but this was from...
Would that be the original one?
That's the original one.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That would have probably been late 80s.
1980.
No, the early 80s.
No,
wow.
Actually, yeah,
it had
exactly
to be
1980.
Early 80s, yeah. Because I went and saw it with this guy who's my brother-in-law's brother, and he made some comment about when the guy was climbing up the lighthouse to try to get Adrienne Barbeau. He looked like Meatloaf, not the singer, but the food. And it was a while before I could eat meatloaf again.
Look, Jamie Lee, I'm sorry. God, I just had her name in my head.
Janet Leigh.
Janet Leigh was a darn good actress, especially for her time. But some of these films that we are talking about that really were good, especially in the 80s and maybe the early 90s, were John Carpenter films.
Yeah.
Wes Craven.
Well, Wes Craven was good.
John Carpenter, I really like John Carpenter. He did The Thing.
Yeah, but that's the point. He did films that messed with your head.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
And, so did Wes Craven. I'm not going to knock Wes Craven because Wes Craven did some good ones like that, too. The only thing, though, of the Freddy Kruegers that I liked the newest one that really explained how Freddy became Freddy. I mean, it went into details, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Well, was it Dream Warriors? Was they talked about that, how he came to be, but not, I mean, conceived, but
They showed it. And in this one, they showed the not necessarily the full-on pictures of kiddie porn that he had, but they, insinuated that's what these pictures were. And then the parents, their involvement, and
excuse me.
I just saw this and just like, oh my gosh. And what's hilarious is the guy who plays Freddy Krueger in all the other films.
England.
Yeah, he actually complimented the guy who did Freddy Krueger in this last one. He said he was a great Freddy Krueger, that it even scared him.
I might have to go watch that.
It was good. I mean, it was different. There are people who didn't like it because it wasn't a Wes Craven. Look, not all directors are the same.
Yeah. All of them are different in their own little way.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So I want to give us a nice halfway treat today.
Okay.
Instead of a fight or flight moment, we'll do a musical video, and I'll pay homage to who it is after we've done streaming, so I can put the link in there for you guys. But hey, why not have a little Halloween mashup with some extra fun treats of movies? Woohoo!
Ooh.
Here we go.
Tiptoe through the window, that's where all become tiptoe.
Yay!
Through the tulips with me.
'Twas a long time ago, longer now than it seems, in a place that perhaps you've seen in your dreams. For the story that you are about to be told took place in the holiday worlds of old. Now, you've probably wondered where holidays come from. If you haven't, I'd say it's time you begun.
Welcome to hell.
Why do you seem so scared? All I wanted to do was play with you. I'm so lonely.
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end.
So there you go. These guys are who did this. And we'll give them the credit, and you'll have the link to their website or to their YouTube page.
Here in the forest, dark and deep, I offer you eternal sleep.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
wonderful.
right? They did an amazing job.
Yes,
I like
did.
what they
Really
did.
wonderful.
So, totally worth it. Totally the addition of needing to be added to what we're, to fit in with our topic tonight.
Right.
And I wanted to try to add something like that each week if possible. So, like I said, we'll give them, we'll give them the credit after we're done, so we can post the links in there. Only reason I don't quite do it before, I give away the surprise.
Exactly.
So, and if you are just tuning in and don't know what you're listening to or watching, you're watching Paranormal Captivity. I mean, no.
Yeah, well, considering between the two of us, how many cats do we have? Or the three of us, I should say.
Yep.
A whole mess.
She's got 2, I've got 2, and you have the rest of the zoo.
Yeah.
I've got more than 2. Way more than 2. I'm an old softie. I can't say no.
Yeah. Trust me, man. I would have to almost admit that I would have more than 2, only because we take care of some strays outside too. And
yeah,
I can sit out there and talk to these cats. They'll actually meow back.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I have more of them.
Yeah, you have more dogs than any of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only got 1 dog.
I have 3.
I didn't even know you had a dog.
You don't know? I didn't know I had a dog?
No,
No.
I knew about the snake and I knew about the cats.
Yeah, well, Walter passed away, sadly. I had a Pomeranian named Lady Kate. Actually, she was named after Katharine Hepburn. I love
okay.
Hepburn. But she died a couple years ago, and I missed her. So I mean, I could not have a dog, so we
Right.
went to the pound and got Eli Winston Crow, who sometimes I slip and call EW.
I need to see a picture of this dog, and then
Okay.
I might let you have credit.
Oh,
to
he's
call him
sweet. He's a pit bull, an old English bulldog.
Yeah, I might.
And boxer and stuff. He's just the sweetest thing.
Yeah.
I love him to death. He's my bubby.
So hey, check it out. Facebook instantly blocks our video.
What?
Because of that music video.
Are you serious? That's excuse my language, fucked up.
Mind you, we verbally gave
credit
where credit's due because we don't own the rights to it, but we want to do that. And then here Facebook does that. This is how close I am to literally going on a rant that I'm trying to avoid by using the our topic tonight. Very, very close. If you knew some of the stuff I've uncovered, you'd freak out. But on another note, speaking of freaking out, what happened to Facebook this week?
Oh, I like that. Okay, shot time. It didn't come up. It was like, okay, great. All right, fine. I can do this and that. And a lot of times I'm on there, but I'm not actually on there.
Oh, so you
My Facebook's up, but I'm not there.
So you don't know about it?
Oh, I do, because I play Hit It Rich. It's a game on Facebook, and then you get hourly spins, so you can play. And I was like, oh crap, this better not take me back to day one because I will be pissed.
Okay. I would call this a conspiracy theory.
Because of the whistleblower?
No.
Didn't it black out for a while?
Mm-hmm. That Instagram, truly. I heard that, what's his name? Little Zuckerberg lost like $8 billion.
For 6 hours of outage, he lost $6 billion. Their stock plummeted like crazy.
That's personal. He lost that personally.
Yes.
Isn't that a shame?
That is a shame. But,
wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's something about Facebook I didn't know about until recently, which started me to think, what is going on, and do we need to be concerned? Is this a conspiracy theory that should be investigated, or is this something else? Well, the gentleman that heads this video that's going to come up, and again, I'll give credit to each one of these because they're not ours. We're not
right
rights to them, and we don't want to get paid for somebody's amazing video.
Right.
But the guy that leads this, Robert, give me a second. I knew his name and I forgot it already. He was Secretary of Labor back during the time of Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
And he also worked under Ford and Carter.
Really?
Yes. So this guy's been in the politics. Robert Reich is his name. All right. And he does have a YouTube page, and he does put videos up for people to check out. So let me give you an example. This is his YouTube page. And one of the ones I want to discuss is this one too. of why our economy might collapse. And I mean, I really think we're very close to it. You guys know how I am with business.
Right.
And I've been watching a lot of stuff. This guy hit some points that I've called. I've actually said are really bad, and if we don't do something, this is about to happen. So what he says in that video, if we decide to share, then you can we can discuss that. But the Facebook situation, that's the one I really want to discuss, because what ended up happening ends up opening the eyes to a lot of other things.
Really?
So, yeah, but this time, well, I'll go ahead and go full screen on this again, and let's take a look at this and see what you guys think. Okay.
The combined wealth of Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, Amazon's Jeff Bezos, and Google's Sergey Brin and Larry Page is larger than the combined wealth of the bottom half of the American population. They're the leaders of a second Gilded Age, ushered in by semiconductors, software, and the internet, which has spawned a handful of high-tech behemoths and crushed competition. Facebook, Amazon, Google, Apple, and Microsoft now have the highest market values of all public corporations in America. As of today, only 3 countries in the world have a GDP higher than these companies' combined market value of approximately $4 trillion. America's first Gilded Age began in the late 19th century with a raft of innovations, railroads, steel production, oil extraction, that culminated in mammoth trusts run by robber barons like J.P. Morgan, John D. Rockefeller, and William Vanderbilt. The answer then was to break up the railroad, oil, and steel monopolies. The answer today is the same: break up big tech. First, they have a stranglehold on the economy. Nearly 90% of all internet searches now go through Google. Facebook and Google together will account for nearly 60% of all digital ad spending in 2019, where most ad money goes these days. They're also the first stops for many Americans seeking news. 93% of Americans say they receive at least some news online. Amazon is now the first stop for almost half of all American consumers seeking to buy anything online. With such size comes the power to stifle innovation. Google uses its search engine to promote its own products and content over those of its competitors, like Yelp. Facebook's purchases of WhatsApp and Instagram killed off 2 potential rivals. Apple stifles competition in its App Store. Partly because of this economic concentration, the rate that new job-creating businesses have formed in the United States has almost halved since 2004, according to the Census Bureau. Second, such size also gives these giant corporations political power to get whatever they want, undermining our democracy. In 2018, Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, and Microsoft spent $70.9 million on lobbying and supporting candidates. Amazon, the richest corporation in America, paid nothing in federal taxes last year. Meanwhile, it held a bidding war to extort billions from states and cities eager to have its second headquarters. Not to mention, these companies have tremendous influence over how Americans receive information. And as we've seen, Facebook and Google have enabled the manipulation of our elections. Third, giant tech companies also hurt the environment. Many are failing to reduce greenhouse emissions as they promised and are unwilling to commit fully to renewable energy. Finally, their huge wealth isn't being shared with most of their workers. 9 in 10 workers in Silicon Valley make less now than they did in 1997, adjusted for inflation. And many are part of the working homeless, that is, people who work full-time and yet are still homeless. The answer is to break them up. That way, information would be distributed through a large number of independent channels instead of a centralized platform, and more startups could flourish. Even one of Facebook's founders has called for the social media behemoth to be broken up. Senator Elizabeth Warren has introduced a proposal to do just that. It would force tech giants to open up their platforms to more competition or break up into smaller companies. Other countries are already taking on big tech. The European Union fined Google nearly $3 billion for antitrust violations in 2017. Let's be clear, monopolies aren't good for anyone except for the monopolists, especially when they can influence our elections and control how Americans receive information. In this new Gilded Age, we need to respond to them as forcefully as we did to the monopolies of the first Gilded Age, and break them up.
So yeah, that let's see, you get that off of there. Okay, so again, for those who don't know, that is Robert Reich, and you can go to his YouTube page. I will put the links to this video, and if we do run the other one in there as well. But totally worth going and checking him out. This guy is very intelligent. I was really impressed with some of the videos I've watched of his, and I just recently heard about him. And so I was like, okay, yeah, everybody has an opinion. Okay, so I'll check it out. But to be honest, he's absolutely right. There's one thing that really annoyed me about that video. Not about what he was saying, but the fact that in 2019, Amazon paid $0 in taxes.
Yeah.
Okay. What happens if we don't pay taxes? Do we need to remind everyone about Willie Nelson?
Yeah. We go to jail.
Okay. But then we get the one percenters, as they call them. And I always thought the one percenters were the people who really worked hard and really cared. No, the one percenters are the rich. The extremely rich. So we're talking Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, the guy with Facebook, all those people. So I've also heard that the rich don't pay much for taxes. Who gets taxed? The little guys.
The little guys.
So let's do this a second. Let's say your average person makes $100,000 a year.
Right.
While these guys, like Amazon, that's why there's an A, make close to $1 billion a month. Okay. So we look at this, and if taxes, which I know in some states are high and some states are low, but even at that, let's just say average tax rate is 10%.
Okay.
And those taxes help cover a lot of things that we as Americans need, including our economy to rebound on stuff like that.
Right.
Who do you want to go after first?
The rich dude.
Exactly. Who's smoking crack here?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I see?
Well, there's more of us than it is of them.
Yes, there is. But Annie, okay, let me put this other one in there. I want you to hear this. 100 years ago, a particular event was happening in the United States. What happens now if the United States actually, their economy falls? Can you tell me that?
Rocketing wealth.
Hey, not yet. You're not supposed to talk yet. Go away.
Not yet. We would probably have another 1929.
But how did we get out of that?
I'm trying to remember my history, so
yeah.
And EV is correct. EV is very correct. They are too powerful to retaliate against. And here is the answer why. By the way, when these videos are playing, your mics are open so we can hear your response, because I want to hear your response.
Right.
And there's going to be a moment in here that I have a feeling it's going to be big. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here is Robert Reich again.
Skyrocketing wealth inequality isn't just wrong, it's also weakening our economy. %70 of the U.S. economy depends on consumer spending. 70%. So American consumers need to spend enough money to buy most of the goods and services Americans are capable of producing. This means that over the long term, their incomes need to keep pace with their productivity. But their incomes haven't. Over the past 40 years, most people's wages have basically stagnated, while worker productivity has soared. Where did the economic gains go? Mostly to the top. The wealthy now own more of the economy than at any time since the 1920s. Here is the economic problem. The wealthy spend only a small percentage of their income and wealth. Their spending is not enough to fulfill the consumer demand that keeps the economy churning.
We can only go out to eat so many times a year. We can only get so many haircuts a year. We can only get, 3 pairs of jeans will do you. You don't need 300 pairs.
Lower income people, on the other hand, spend almost everything they have, which is becoming very little. Most workers are not earning nearly enough to buy what the economy is capable of producing. The result is a gap between potential output and potential consumption. To fill the gap, the economy depends on people going deeper and deeper into debt so they can buy. Even in 2018, when the economy appeared strong, 40% of Americans had negative net incomes and were borrowing money to pay for basic household needs. The Fed has had to keep interest rates lower and lower to accommodate this buying, and the government has to spend more and more to fill the remaining gap. None of this is sustainable. At some point, widening inequality causes the economy to collapse. We've seen this before. Years ago, Mariner Eccles, chairman of the Federal Reserve from 1934 to 1948, explained that the Great Depression occurred because the buying power of most Americans fell far short of what the economy was producing. He blamed the increasing concentration of wealth at the top. Quote, a giant suction pump had, by 1929, 1930, drawn into a few hands an increasing portion of current produced wealth. As in a poker game, where the chips were concentrated in fewer and fewer hands, the other fellows could stay in the game only by borrowing. When their credit ran out, the game stopped, unquote. While the wealthy of the 1920s didn't know what to do with all their money, most Americans could maintain their standard of living only by going deeper and deeper into debt. When that debt bubble burst, the economy tanked. Fast forward 100 years, and we see the same pattern. While the typical American's wages have barely budged for decades, adjusted for inflation, most economic gains have gone to the top. Just as Eccles' so-called giant suction pump drew an increasing portion of the nation's wealth into a few hands before the Great Depression. The result has been an economy whose underlying structure is far more fragile than it may seem. Remember the housing and financial debt bubbles that burst in 2008? We avoided another Great Depression then only because the government pumped enough money into the economy to maintain demand, and the Fed kept interest rates near zero. And then came the pandemic. The Fed has had to keep interest rates near zero, and the government has had to pump even more money into the economy. While these programs have been crucial to staving off a pandemic-induced depression, they're only temporary. Over the long term, the real worry continues to be on the demand side. Widening inequality means not enough demand. America's wealth gap is now more extreme than it's been in over a century. Until this structural problem is remedied, the American economy will remain perilously fragile. It will also be vulnerable to the next demagogue, wielding anger and racism and resentment as substitutes for real reform. Closing our staggering wealth gap is crucial to the survival of both our economy and our democracy.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen.
Well, that's a very good point, is it? The only way they bailed us out during the Great Depression was the government had to step in and put money in.
Right.
So I did some research.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is going to shock you. What is our national debt?
I know it's in the trillions.
Like about $6 trillion. You ready for this? I had to do some research to find out what we actually owe.
Mm-hmm.
Who does the U.S. owe for their debt? What do you think came up?
I would say China or somebody overseas.
This is the fun part. So, according to what I understand, foreign governments have purchased U.S. treasuries, including Japan, China, Brazil, Ireland, the U.K., and a few others.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All of those combined is a total of $1.18 trillion.
Oh, good Lord.
While our national debt is in the $6 trillions. Anyone else kind of a little confused?
Yeah, I am.
Apparently, we're in debt to ourselves. This is the moment where everybody can say, what the hell? Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up so I can give you the exact areas where it was.
My French, but that's what I think.
Well, no, because I would ask the same thing. It makes you wonder why. So most of it goes into things like Social Security, other government spending situations.
Right.
Okay, so I'm pulling up the Data Lab, which is the usually very good way of seeing all that, but apparently they're not showing that. I have an overview. Thank you. So, okay, let's take a look at this. In 2016, our national debt was only in about almost 4 million, but not quite there.
Right.
Today, we're pushing towards the $7 trillion.
Wow.
Now, how is this happening? Why is this happening? And most of it they talk about is that it is in our government finances where they put the money into. And so you've heard the comments of, in the future, we probably won't have Social Security.
Right.
Does this make sense? Because Social Security is technically our money, not the government's money.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they've hit that with so many IOUs is not funny.
Yeah, exactly.
And they need to put that damn money back.
Exactly. That is a very big issue where it goes to and who's doing it. The Federal Reserve is another location that money supposedly coming out of, which it doesn't. It makes me cringe to say we're in a nation that that this could happen in. Its average debt for people is pretty high. But even at that, just by his statement alone, you could look at what he said and you take each piece of that, and say, it is true. How many people have maxed their credit cards just to cover bills? We put ourselves back in debt to try to save ourselves from being in debt.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is? How about we do it this way? U.S. debt to U.S.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, according to the federal debit, actually, another company, the federal debit currently exceeds $23.4 trillion. But this is what's owed to us. Would get me to the next question of, and I have to put this out there, is if we make our own money and we set our value of our dollar,
Mm-hmm.
how bad is it that we have to say we're in debt to ourselves?
Yeah.
Couldn't we zero that out?
We should be able to.
Well, as you heard from him, because of the way things are being ran and because of the way things are being done, yeah, exactly.
Cute.
I like that.
I do.
Actually, it's my cell phone that needs to be charged.
Oh,
That's
so
what's making the beep.
it's her cell phone. But if things keep going the way it's going, our economy is going to crash. And if our economy crashes, this doesn't just affect the United States, folks. This affects the world.
Really?
Yes. So just think about that for a moment when you start hearing about other countries who all of a sudden start helping the United States to try to stop from an economical crash.
Right.
This is a bigger horror story and more mind messing up with your mind.
Yeah, well,
anything.
it is I was going to say the wrong word. I'm glad I stopped myself.
Spit it out, EW.
No. You guys don't want me to say that. But it is a way that messes with your mind.
And I know what you're going to say. True.
Look, I'm not going to say I am for any president, because I've been asked a lot of times my opinion about Trump and Biden.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm to say it on the air, and which might make some people mad, I don't care. It's this.
It's your opinion.
It's my opinion, right? But I think both were a joke.
Yeah.
And the reason is because think about one thing. When you have a presidential debate, how many people are supposed to be there?
2.
No, ma'am. See, that's the problem.
The 2 debaters plus an official.
No.
No?
So a lot of people think there's only 2 political parties, but that's not true.
There's an independent party.
There's actually 27 parties that can run for president.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So when the presidential debate came up the first time, and it was only 2 individuals, this should have been a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a lady who was running independent who had some great views and could have been in there and talked about it. But 2 powerful houses, which are the elephant in the room and the donkey in the room, You know, so somebody just yells out donkey, and we just okay. But we have to look and realize these are not the only two parties. Yet we hear Congress doesn't want to do something, or Senate doesn't want to do something because the Democrats can't agree with the Republicans, or the Republicans can't. I'm sorry, I've said this before, ladies and gentlemen. The Constitution states, for the people. We the people, for the people, not for your pocket. And this is what we're seeing.
Dream on, darling.
I know, but because of that situation, we're getting our nation is literally going down the tube. It is. Thank you. She says, almost passable Shrek. Woohoo!
Right.
But the thing is as we continue to see these problems happen, we continue to go down. These other nations, they don't have to deal with our politics. They look at it and say, we ain't doing that crap. And so they can avoid it, you know. But the part that we lose is that how we are a united nation.
Mm-hmm.
The unity was thrown out a long time ago, and we can't, you know, we have the Black Lives Matter, we have Hispanic Lives Matter, we have all these things, and it's not to say that I'm what's that word that they were using recently? Oh, woke. It's not that.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a licensed minister. I grew up in interracial churches. I watched interracial marriages. This did not surprise me. I didn't know what racism was until I was a teenager.
Right.
So, and I still today don't care about anyone's race, political stance, or where they're from to make a friend.
Yeah.
You're nice to me, I'll be nice to you.
Bingo.
Exactly.
We were all raised with one particular saying: if you have nothing nice to say,
don't say it at all.
And that is the way it should be.
Yeah.
However,
if I disagree with you, or you disagree with me, we don't think the same on a subject.
Right.
Am I going to stop talking to you?
No.
Hell no.
I wouldn't fight with you either, because it's possible to have what they call a debate,
or an open dialogue.
Well, yeah, but you
can, not gonna, just because of if you don't like you, I like Trump. You didn't like Trump. It's okay, so we just don't talk about it.
Right.
Okay? I'm not
exactly.
That way there's no fighting.
It's also okay to say we can agree to disagree.
Exactly.
You know, which
you
means
sit there and you talk like adults and have, instead of being bullied or spit on or had stuff thrown at you because somebody went to a Trump rally and you don't like Trump, so you're going to throw stuff at them.
Right.
That's really stupid and childish. And somebody needs to get their asses spanked.
Well, let me answer Evie's question here, which is, can we meet the country's basic needs?
Probably not.
No, honestly, I don't think so, because there's too many people in power that want to stay in power and they want to line their own pockets. We elected them. They work for us, the American people, but they're acting like a bunch of they've gone so far. I don't want to sound un-PC. So far off the reservation, and they're in La La Land somewhere, and they don't give a damn about us. They don't give
they don't.
You or anybody else, as long as they can stay in power. So they should have limits for being a senator, a congressperson.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do it in a certain amount of years,
you're out.
You're out.
Agreed.
And we should be able to fire them.
Yes.
You're not doing a good job. You're acting like a total butt munch.
And
you need to get out.
we should be able to deduct their wages.
Well, here's another thing.
Every time they're going to shut down everything, it's Social Security, it's the military, it's this, it's welfare.
Yeah.
Okay, guess what, darlings? You don't get a paycheck.
That's what I would say right off the bat. Okay,
right.
So
you don't get a paycheck. If I'm not getting a paycheck, you're not getting a paycheck.
Right. But let's do this. Let's look at this a second. Here is where our debt to our own selves are.
Okay.
Now, this is the one right here, the national or the debt ceiling. This is what is just right now in Congress and the Senate to still be passed all the way, because if they don't raise it, we get a government shutdown, but we can also fall into a financial crisis, an actual collapse of our economy for just this alone, the debt ceiling. Okay? But where else does that money go to? Well, it goes to the federal budget deficit. It goes to investments from foreign countries, low interest rates, and as I said before, Social Security. That
Social Security thing bugs the crap out of me, because I know I've worked for so many years, and part of my paycheck that I earned goes into Social Security.
Yep.
So when I'm in my 60s, which I am now, I could go and get my Social Security.
Right.
Money that I put into the government so I could have this when I'm that age. And now they're saying they're running out of money.
Why are they running out of money?
Because they kept borrowing it.
Yeah.
They kept borrowing it. For what?
30 years of working, putting that money in there, I should have enough for retirement for the rest of my life.
Right.
Yeah, well, you don't.
Exactly. And they're telling the kids today, don't expect Social Security when you get older.
Yeah.
But who's making that statement? And if we teach our children the right way now, how to stand up and, kind of,
not be a snowflake.
Well, not necessarily that. What
there
I'm
you
trying
go, darling. That's a good word.
I don't
Grow a
want
pair, get a backbone, stand up and say, I'm sick and tired of this. I'm not taking it anymore.
But there is a way to do it properly, not creating riots, not burning down towns. We need to get the government's attention to say enough is enough. But
they don't want to listen. They do not want to listen.
So we have one way to end it all. Seriously.
I know what you're going to say. I don't want to say it.
It's a vote. We don't vote for them.
Yep.
But you're going to have some yahoos that still go and vote for these people.
Oh yeah, there's still going to be people when Trump runs
my
for
phone
president.
has more sense than some of those people in DC. And this thing is dead right now, guys.
Yeah. Well, some people will come out with, a lot of good things and a lot of negatives to it. It's going to be the back and forth. I'm not going to deny that. But there is going to be those moments where we run into issues that people are like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And this is one of the ways we need to, I'm going to use the word that I just saw in the chat room there, is flip the government on its head.
Yep.
And start showing them, literally shake out their pockets and I'm not trying to say incite a riot. What I mean by this is they need to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is take them out of the cloud.
$174,000 a year become billionaires.
Yeah.
And millionaires.
Well, and it's like Robert Reich said, that we could, we need to break up these monopolies.
Right.
And the only way that's going to ever happen is when we get to a point where the country decides it's time we pay attention.
And we need to start acting on it.
Yeah. It's not that hard. Look, if they start taxing, and I mean really taxing the rich like they tax us, most of that debt ceiling will start to change.
Yeah, but they won't because they want them in power.
But you could
because they turn around and give them money.
They could still be in power.
Yeah.
They can still be in power. They can still have their millions or billions. I'm thinking some of them are billionaires now.
Yeah.
And they could still end up having that. At 10% tax of $1 billion is how much?
$1 million?
Exactly.
Yeah, we would be out of it in no time if they would tax them higher than us blue collar people that are working our asses off and only getting a little bit out of debt.
Yeah, well, most of us.
Maybe it should be a percentage of how much you make.
It should be. You're absolutely right.
It should be based on how much you make.
If you're a millionaire or a billionaire, it should be how much you make that goes in.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, even at that, mega corporations like Amazon should not be allowed to not pay tax.
Exactly.
Oh, that's disgraceful.
And if they don't pay taxes, shut them down until they pay those taxes off. And then they can get up and running again. But they have to do it yearly.
Yeah,
like the
and
rest of us.
The only way to hurt a company like that now is literally everybody would have to stop ordering from them.
Yep.
Is that possible? The answer is no.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, I don't have to buy anything from Amazon.
No, you're right. I don't have to buy anything from them either. I don't need their subscriptions or what have you. I could go that route if I really wanted to. The point is it's not you and I that would make such a huge impact on them. It would be a country that would make a huge impact on them. That's how you would have to start.
Yeah.
If you don't start that way, then you don't make a difference. You don't change anything.
Right.
And we've always promoted the mom and pop shops.
Mm-hmm.
These are the people who are trying to really make an honest living in doing things. And they get blocked out by these mega companies. And we got to, somehow change that.
Mm-hmm.
So, protesting is one thing. Speaking up is another thing. But hitting them where it really hurts,
the wallet,
their pocketbook, exactly, that's when you get their attention.
Yep.
Now, what would happen if the entire nation stopped paying taxes? Well, jails would be full.
We'd lose our houses. We'd end up in jail.
Yep.
Jails would be full, and the only ones that would be laughing at the bank are the 1%ers, which is, as you saw, the very rich.
Yeah.
So, there's really nothing we can do within that part. So I'll never tell anyone to break the law.
Right.
Just you can do what you're supposed to. Keep doing that stuff. This is what you're supposed to do as a human, as a citizen, and as a responsible human.
Yeah.
But we got to come up with a way to make our voices heard.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it's going to come down to these mega companies needing to be shut out. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic, though, Evie.
I agree.
Is really a whole nother area.
That's another topic for another.
Right. I mean, you see, they do. There's people who are willing to go to jail because they get a better life.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the people in D.C., from what I understand, and correct me and anybody if I'm wrong, they don't have the same health care plans that you and I do.
Yeah.
And they don't pay for them because it comes the taxpayers pay their way.
Well, let's look at something. When Obama wrote that Affordable Care Act, it was a very clear, very nice plan.
Yeah.
Then it got slaughtered going through, the Senate and Congress. But what if Obama turned around and said, "Okay, I'll give you your way, but first, you have to also be on it. You have to use this health care." What would have happened is they would have fixed that puppy to be like one of the best health cares in the world.
If they make a law or whatever they do, it should apply to them as well, which it doesn't.
Right.
Like the COVID shots. Biden said that the people in the federal government, but it doesn't have to be anybody around them.
Yeah.
They're exempt. That does not sit well with me. What's good for you is good for me.
Look, the people that are in these positions are actually doing a service, or supposed to be doing a service for us, and that's literally what the Constitution says.
Yeah.
I don't even think they read the Constitution.
But they swear to uphold the Constitution.
Yeah, they swear on a Bible when they get elected or sworn in.
I wonder if.
But I bet you anything they got their fingers crossed behind their back.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
Could we actually sue our government
I
for
doubt it.
violating the Constitution?
I think we should be able to fire them if they're not doing their jobs.
I agree, but could
and I'm
we
not
sue?
talking about voting them out. I'm talking about out and out fire their happy little butts.
Well, I think I'm gonna talk to an attorney this week, and I want to know if we can sue the government for violation of the Constitution. Because, as we said, it is supposed to be a service of the people for the people.
For the people, yeah.
And they're actually hurting the people. So if we could be able to,
how about a nice class action suit?
Yeah.
That's what it will boil down to.
Yeah, but could you imagine that going all the way to the Supreme Court? And then it makes the news, headline news. This would wake up America.
Oh, yeah.
That's the woke we need to be.
Yeah. I think this would wake America up.
Yep. Well, I've got a rock, hun. I'm almost out of juice.
We are at that point anyways. We kind of went over. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you have opinions or thoughts on what we talked about, please make the comments down below.
Let us know.
Yeah. And we'll put the links here in a little bit for the videos that we shared with you tonight, too. So thank you, everyone. And we'll see you guys next week.
Good night, all.
Bye, Sarah. Bye.